You want to be in as close to neutral body posture as possible. Remaining in the same position all night can be a problem. So if you go to sleep and wake up in the same exact position you went to sleep, and you do that every night, that might be a problem. We didn't come with an owner's manual. Choosing the perfect bed, pillow, and sleeping posture can significantly improve your sleep quality and, believe it or not, your overall well-being. Hi there, Carl Rothschild here. I want to talk to you about one of my favorite subjects, sleeping. We didn't come with an owner's manual. For every subject out there, whether it's diet and nutrition, whether it's exercise, and in particular how to take care of yourself, there are an infinite number of different professionals out there that think they have the answer. Well, I'm going to give you my answer on how to sleep. First of all, I want to talk to you about microtrauma. So microtrauma is about having an event of trauma that, if it was only done once in your life or even a few times in your life, wouldn't really have a long-term effect. But physical microtrauma over a series of years can create what they call insidious onset of symptoms, or symptoms that come on where you don't even know, where'd that come from? A patient will come in, they were bending over to pick up a pencil, and now they can't move. They can't straighten out. Now, clearly, it wasn't the weight of the pencil, and it wasn't an activity that they haven't done 100 times before. Often is called the last straw. The body just couldn't take it anymore. All these different things that this person has done to themselves has finally taken its toll. And what we find around 45 years of age, where everything before that, all the micro traumas in your life, and even the regular traumas, the person is starting to feel things like arthritis, like things like that, that they have no idea where it came from. And what it is, it's about all these things that people do when they're younger. I mean, I can't tell you how many patients would come in and say, I don't have a problem. I can have a 6-pack of beer and it has no ill effect on me every night. They don't understand that down the road, in some ways, they may have to pay the consequences, whether it's kidney damage, liver damage, or any number of other issues that people do to themselves. So what if you lived your life perfectly? Whatever that is. I mean, nobody does, but I'm just putting it out there. What if you lived your life perfectly so that you exercised perfectly and you ate perfectly and slept and sit and stood and you drank plenty of water, you didn't smoke, you didn't hardly drink any alcohol, and no drugs? What if you did everything perfectly and more than just this, the emotional thing and all that? What do you suppose, and how long do you think you could live? What your quality of life would be? And so I often, in presentations, I will say, what do you think your 75-year-old self would like to say to your 20-year-old self? Because that 75-year-old self is paying the consequences of what you didn't do when you were younger, the things that you didn't do to take care of yourself, and now you wish you had by the time you're 75. So what I want to introduce to you a notion called neutral body posture. Anytime you're in a position, what's called prolonged position, and that's more than a few minutes of sitting, a few minutes of standing, a few minutes of looking, and a few minutes, of course, of sleeping, and we all sleep more than just a few minutes, you want to be in as close to neutral body posture as possible. So we're going to go over neutral body posture as best we can in regards to sleeping. Now you can look at this and you can tell that ain't neutral body posture. I hope you realize that, because to be lying down like that and have to have your head turned to one side, there's nothing neutral about that. There's nothing neutral about this. I mean, just to look at this, it looks painful, doesn't it? And do you know how many people use the keyboard on their laptop? Now, if you do that just for a few minutes, you're traveling, that's fine. But if you use your laptop as your computer, you need to have a separate keyboard that's attached to your laptop so that your hands are lower down and you could sit more upright. You raise the laptop onto a box so it's at eye level, not staring down like that. I mean, look what's happened to the guy's shoulders and whatnot. Now, these two women, it's the same woman. And look at how much better it looks when a person is taking care of themselves, like the one on the right, and someone who's just a sloucher and is not taking good care of themselves, not standing right. I'll bet you most of her habits are not good for her. So it's about the right pillow. If you were an Olympic athlete, I'll bet that as an Olympic athlete, you would have the perfect equipment. You'd learn how to use that equipment perfectly. Equipment meaning the shoes or whatever you need to use in your athletic endeavor, you would use them perfectly and you'd learn how to use them perfectly. Well, you want the best bed, the best pillow, the right chair, the right shoes, the right car seat, and right everything in your life. If you do that a lot, listen, if you never sit down, I'm not so worried about your chair. And if you don't stand all day long, maybe we're not so concerned about your shoes, but everybody sleeps. And you must have the best pillow for you and the best bed for you. That's kind of what we're going to review. So it is natural and normal to move around throughout the evening, but a few times, not consistently and not constantly. Remaining in the same position all night can be a problem. So if you go to sleep and wake up in the same exact position you went to sleep, and you do that every night, that might be a problem. It might be that you're drunk every night or you're toxic, because it's natural and normal. Pressure points occur. When you're lying on your body, even the best bed, you're putting pressure on those body parts. And it's natural and normal to move a few times a night. That's in contrast to the word tossing and turning all night. That's not what we're talking about. That's a whole different problem. And that's not usually just a physical problem. Usually that's a person under a lot of stress and they can't calm down. Maybe it's a person that drinks so much coffee, they can't relax. Whatever it is, what I'm talking about, what's natural and normal, is for you to move a few times throughout the evening. So just to reiterate, choosing the perfect bed, pillow, and sleeping posture can significantly improve your sleep quality and, believe it or not, your overall well-being. So let's just go over these quickly. Importance of sleeping affect your restoration. It allows your body to repair tissues, cognitive function, emotional well-being, physical health, and even your immune system. And so I want you to understand that a human can go longer without food than without sleep. And I don't know if you all knew that. Sleep is critical, and doing it right is very important. So let's talk about the bed. Money spent on a quality bed will pay lots of dividends in the future. If you spend little on your bed and a lot on your TV, let's say, that drives me nuts. So you want to consider the size of the bed based on your sleeping preferences and space availability. I'm telling you that if you sleep by yourself, you probably want a queen. But if you don't, and you have a partner in the bed with you, you want a king size. As far as the mattress firmness is concerned, you want to make sure that it's supportive for your body and your spine alignment. It should be firm, but with a really good pillow top so that you sink into the firmness. You want to look for great quality of materials that are durable and provide comfort for a good night's sleep. It's also wise for you to go test the bed. If you're buying the bed online and you've never checked it out, I think that's a mistake. So if the bed is for two people, I want you to consider a split bed. That means putting two twin beds linked together. That could work really well. It's not reasonable to think that one bed at one firmness will satisfy both the needs of a 300-pounder and a 100-pounder. So if one of you is 100 pounds, the other one's much heavier, you'd want to have different firmness for the two sides of the bed. I like Select Comfort. It's a king size that's split and it has dual chambers. My wife and I, she has a different chamber. She can set the firmness to her liking. And then I can set the firmness to my liking. And also, what's beautiful about a split bed is that if she moves, I don't feel it. If I move, she doesn't feel it. And that's also very important. You don't want to keep bothering each other. So let's talk about that. Let's look at a supportive bed. Now, this is not the perfect position, but I just wanted you to see what it looks like. This is what we call neutral body posture, where the spine is neutral, the head is neutral, facing the same way and on its side. This bed's too soft. So just look at it. Not good alignment. This person slept like this a few nights. Maybe they can get away with it. But years of doing this will destroy the spine. Same thing with a bed that's too hard. The interesting thing about a bed that's too hard is that that's what happens. A lot of people go shopping, couples in particular. They go shopping and the salesperson is going to sell them on the hardest bed because I think that's where they make the highest commission because it's the most expensive bed. It is not the right bed for so many people. How do I know that? I can't tell you how many women come into the office with back pain. When did it start? Well, I don't know. All of a sudden I got it. So when we review it enough times, we start realizing they recently bought a new bed and it's hard as heck and it's driving her crazy. Remember, women are more curvy and they don't do well with a hard bed. They don't do well with a soft bed. It's a supportive bed that gives where it needs to give and supports where it needs to support. So now I'm going to talk to you about a pillow. If I just show you this picture and take a look at this picture, that's ideal. What we're doing here is we're supporting the neck and the head at the same time. If you have a pillow that only supports the head, which is probably 95% of the pillows out there only support the head, you are dooming yourself to neck problems. So I actually carry my pillow when we go traveling. It takes a large percentage of my stupid suitcase, but I'm not going to rely on the hotel pillows. That's crazy. Those pillows are terrible often. If you have the right pillow, it would absolutely reduce the strain on the back and neck. It's great to enhance the comfort and relaxation. It prevents neck pain. It actually improves breathing, and it will reduce pressure points so it can distribute the weight evenly and promote better circulation. I showed you the best and worst beds. Now let's talk about best and worst sleeping positions. Sleeping on your stomach is the worst. You think about that word, neutral body posture. How could that possibly be? Your head is twisted to the side. And maybe you can get away with it for a while, but eventually you're going to have horrible back and neck problems, because not only is this bad for your neck, it's also bad for your back. A very good position, but not my favoriteest, is lying on your back. Now, if you can sleep on your back perfectly and not snore, that's fine. But a very large percentage of people who are lying on their back wind up snoring. Now, if you are going to lie on your back, unless you have the perfect bed, you're also going to need to put a pillow under your legs to flatten out the curve of the spine. When you get in the bed, lie on your back, and you can put your hand through that little, what's called the lumbar curve. Some women in particular have very dramatic curves there, and they need support. And the only way you're going to get support is the perfect bed or put a pillow under your knees. But remember, I told you before, you need to move throughout the night. So what are you going to do with this pillow? It's a difficult position. So getting back to snoring, snoring can disrupt sleep quality for both of you, both the snorer and the partner. And in this picture, also the cat. Sleep quality will go way down, and that's due to snoring. It can lead to daytime fatigue and irritability. You will not get a nice night's sleep. You won't realize it. If you live by yourself and you don't realize whether you snore or not, there are apps on the phone that you can use to see, are you a snorer? But if you snore, you're keeping yourself awake at a level that won't allow you to get a full night's sleep. It shows that snoring is associated with an increased risk of sleep disorders like sleep apnea. And sleep disruptions caused by snoring can impact your overall health and well-being. So addressing your snoring is a very important thing, and not lying on your back for most snorers is the smartest idea. Let's look at lying on your side. Again, this is a good position. It's not my favoriteest, but it's good. Lying on your side is better than these two. Let's put it that way. So you're on your side. The spine is in a neutral body posture. You don't want to ever put your hand under your head, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Putting a pillow between your knees is a good idea, but let's go on to what I call the fourth dimension. I had to name it something. So lying on your back, stomach, or side, that's the three main dimensions that people talk about. And I'm going to talk about the fourth position or dimension that I really have had great success with my patients and myself. And another word for the fourth dimension of sleeping is couch sleeping. You can't believe what percentage of my patients would come in with terrible back pain and they would tell me that they're sleeping on their couch. Well, the research has shown that when you're sleeping on your couch and you have a back behind you, you're not sleeping right on your side. You're sleeping somewhere in between back and side. And it's the ideal position. You're not putting pressure on your shoulder. You're not putting pressure on your hip. You're putting all your weight behind you onto the back part of the couch. And what I want to do is to teach you, how do you create couch sleeping in your regular bed? we're going to kind of go over the do's and don'ts of sleeping. We already talked about this. Ridiculous. Don't sleep on your stomach. It's bad for your neck. It's bad for your back. Now, this looks like a smiling, happy person, right? I don't like the pillow. Now, why do you suppose her arm is under the pillow? Because the pillow is not high enough. But remember, the head weighs almost as much as a bowling ball. And you're putting a bowling ball on your shoulder and arm all night long. So you never want to have any part of your body resting on another part of your body. Your head will not rest on your arm, not on your hands, not on anything. So watch the pictures as we go along and you'll see what's better for you. Now this looks pretty good, except for the fact that you see this leg's this way and now this leg is brought over. This is called torquing. You don't want this. These two legs should be in a semi-fetal position and together. The point of having the pillow in between is to keep from the knees knocking and the feet banging again. So this is even better. Now the knees are at the right level. I would have the feet on this as well. The upper arm is supported. I'll show you in a moment why you need that support. And everything's pretty good about this, except we need a pillow behind her. And that's it. If you had a pillow wedged behind her back, she would be in pretty much close to the most ideal position. Now, I saw a doctor had posted this for an idea, but first of all, the bed's too small. But second of all, she's wearing shoes. Third of all, if she moves, if she just coughs, these pillows, this one in particular, is on the floor. So this is not ideal. Also, she's got her hand under her pillow. The hand should be out. Don't put any weight on any parts of your body, right? This is a good idea right here. Pillow supports the head, allows you to have your feet in a semi-fetal position, and it gives you support behind you. So you're not on your shoulder, you're lying back towards the back of you. I like this. The only thing that's missing is, see this up arm? Over the night, this up arm might start slipping forward this way, and now there's a torque. So it'd be nice to have this arm supported by something. Here's another picture. The reason why I don't like this one is because this pillow is way too thick. So they have these kind of pillows where you can remove some of the stuffing. But you see she's on her back. She's on her side and kind of on her back at the same time. Semi-fetal position. Her arm is just out and her head is well supported. Not a bad idea if this wasn't so thick. And then again, this is about the pillow that I really like. So tips for better sleeping in general is establish a consistent sleep schedule. So you kind of want to, as much as you can, except for the weekends. This says even on weekends, but I would suggest having a similar wake up and going to bed time every day. Create a relaxing bedtime routine, limit exposure to screens before bed. So the electronics in your life, there's a lot of excitement with that, and it's hard to go to sleep after that. Laptops, things like that. And you also want to ensure a comfortable sleep environment. So the right darkness, it should be pretty dark, pretty quiet, and pretty cool. If you have it very warm, most people report that that's not good. It doesn't work really well for you. So we would want to have it cooler rather than hot. And then finally, what I've already implied is choose a really great mattress and pillow that provide adequate support for your body and sleeping posture. Now, also about eating. You should not eat within 2 hours of having gone to sleep. So if you go to sleep at 10, you want to be done eating by 8. There should be 2 hours for your body to be able to digest the food and handle that. If you've just ate and then go to sleep, that really is problematic, and you will not have a restful sleep typically with that type of scenario. So anyhow, I really appreciate you watching this. I hope it was helpful. And of course, I'm always open for questions and suggestions. Have a great rest of your day and take care.